divide it into 3 parts. The first part is what I'm going to be kicking off now, which is the introduction. I'm going to tell you everything I know about MMM, following my slides, and in the course of that presentation, or in the introductory part, is take down any questions you have. We won't entertain any question in the first part. So the second part, we'll now go for the question and answers. So whatever questions you feel you have during the course of my presentation that you don't understand and you still need more clarity, that time will take it. Take all those questions. And the last part will now be the practical section. The practical section is we're now going into registrations, how to make your donations, and the likes like that. So let me start off with the first part today. Now, so let's start off with the first part, which is introduction. Let me introduce you to MMM. Let me tell you about MMM, so that after today, you will be convinced at least to a large extent. If somebody asks you about MMM, you can tell the person what MMM is. Alright, so we welcome all participants to MMMNigeria. What is MMM? What is MMM? What is MMM? The 3 M's there that we see there, those 3 initials, it means Mabrodi Mondial Movement. Mabrodi is the name of the founder. Sergei Mabrodi, that's the name of the founder. He's a Russian. For those of us that have Russian friends, you know their names is always Bantashek, Bex, something Bekeche, and the likes like that. So that's the name. Mondial means something that is global, something that is international. And when we say something is a movement, we mean it's like a group of people coming together to make that thing stand. So the 3 initial type of Mabrodi Mondial movement. The last movement at the back, some people would say they want to call it money box, especially those that have been in MMM for a while. MMM is a movement that started way back as 1994, so it's not something new. So for those that have been there, they call it money box because they've been part of it, they understand the system, they know how it works, and they started making a lot of their 30% on it every month, and they're enjoying the system. Alright, so MMM is a global community of financial aid donation exchange. We call it, it is the world's largest and the world's biggest donation exchange platform. When we say something is donation, that means there's a sort of contribution involved. That means some people are bringing funds in, some people are collecting. So you understand. So when we say it's a donation, that means there's a transfer, there's an exchange, there's somebody that is paying the money, there's somebody that is receiving the money. That's how we call it as the donation exchange. So it's also a social network that connects everyone who wants to donate money with anyone also who is ready to get money. Participants transfer money directly within each other, and the process of doing this transfer, the process of sending this money, you know, we said there has to be somebody that's on the getting part, there has to be somebody on the providing part. The process of linking themselves together is what we use, what is termed the peer-to-peer system of exchange. In other words, there's no central account that donations goes into. There's no bank account, there's no like a company name that is tagged with the name of MMMNigeria and that all of us pay to know. It is all direct exchange between me and you. When you are joining MMM, if you want to make your donation, MMM is going to link you up with somebody that is requesting for that amount you want to donate into the system. That's why we say it's an exchange. So there's no account that, okay, you want to start with 2,000 naira and that you pay that money into. Or let me say an admin now controls the funds. A lot of us will have done some passive business online. You know, when you are doing it using e-currencies, this pays PayPal, you have to deposit into some admin's account. When you're also making your withdrawals also, when you place your withdrawal request, it might likely show you a pending status, meaning that there's somebody that needs to approve that your withdrawal and send it to you. Show you understand. But in MMM, we don't have that. All transactions are directly between members. So, in other words, if you request for your donation amount or you request for money in your system now, the funds is going to be sent directly into your bank account. Because when you are registering, you need to enter in your bank details and every other thing. So, if somebody is making payments, paying directly to you, so the aspect of charges, the aspect of maybe 1% with deficit as a result of maybe currency charges is not there. It's straight to your account. So that's why we say it's a peer-to-peer system, direct to no central account. Let's proceed. month dated this. As of last week, it is now over 200 million members that are in MMM. When we get to the practical side, I will show you the website so that you see there. We currently are in 118 countries, so it's no more 107 countries. The system has grown, and Nigeria is now part of MMM community globally. But internationally, we have over 200 million members in MMM, so it's not something that started today. For 200 million people to be coming together in a particular, that means it's something that has been tested, it's something that has been proven. Alright, so it is the largest donation exchange network in the world. In 1994 also, MMM held 1/3 of the entire cash in Russia. Don't forget I told you that the founder is from Russia, so that means MMM started in Russia. When they started in 1994 then, they were using that system that the passive business or the high business usually use, in the sense that you pay into somebody's account, and when they did the collation of all the funds that were in MMM's account, the central account, they discovered that it was up to 1/3 of the total budget of Russia. Meaning if Russia's budget was $1 million, that means MMM's account was holding $300,000 in it. Why? Because of the large influx of people that joined the system then in 1994. But over the sequence of doing that, it now became like a sort of threat to the government. I don't know if any one of us here have done all these wonder banks in the past. I think like it was raining like 10, 8, 6 years past. You put the money there, they'll give you after a while, you put it there again, you put it. But over a period of time, government discovered that rather than turning their people, making people to be lazy, you know. Some people just put the money there, just get it out. There's no really need for saying you want to start going to look for jobs, since there's somewhere that the money can come out of. So that was the kind of concept that MMM was using way back then in 1994. So it was like a threat to government, a threat in the sense that they were now looking at, if all our populace, if all the population are now joining MMM, that means there will be nobody going to farm, there will be nobody going into the engineering sector, there will be nobody going into all these other things that can develop the economy. So it was like a threat to them, so they had to put a stop to it. And if you want to stop any business anywhere in the world, online, offline, all you just need to do is just go and close the company's account. That's all. So that was what they did to MMM in 1994. It's now there because they felt, if these people are not stopped, they are going to grow up to the extent that it's going to be like a sort of contention with them, so they have to put a stop to it. So the founder now felt, okay, fine. The concept of MMM is not to be like a threat. It's not to take the aspect of the normal contemporary job that we still do. In fact, when we are joining MMM, we still tell you that it's not taking the place of your business. It's just an extra income that's supposed to be for you. Meaning, okay, you are working now, you are earning 50,000 naira, and somewhere also you can also still get an extra 30,000 naira to yourself. That means you have 80,000 naira income to plan with at the end of the month. So instead of you depending solely on just your 50,000 naira, you have an extra 30,000 also that you can also like plan with. That's okay, fine, I have another project I want to do. Let this 30,000 naira solving that. Why you still keep on with your normal job? So MMM is not taking that place. But then the government was like, okay, fine, if you continue to allow these people to go, they are going to take the place. So that's why they have to put a stop to it. We'll get to the aspect of the ideology so that you can understand what MMM's concept is all about, what it's also defined for. So it was also reported that Bitcoin prices were drifting up as a result of MMM's populace, MMM's participants. Dollar, pounds, euro, all these things are being driven by what? They are driven by market forces, and the forces are what? Demand and supply. Some people are requesting for it, some people are making the supply. In essence, there's a particular currency that is called Bitcoin. I don't know if anyone have you heard of Bitcoin before? Okay, good. Yes, so we have someone here. Bitcoin is just like a normal currency that every person uses. PM, perfect money. You've heard of perfect money before. You've heard of Payza before. You've heard of PayPal before. Bitcoin also is just like that, but it's now the most used currency in the world because it is flawless. Flawless in the sense that you can be here now and you transfer funds to somebody in China using your internet and using Bitcoin. As long as that person has access to Bitcoin wherever the person is anywhere in the world, you can get the cash out. So it's the most used now. And now imagine 138 million people using just one particular currency. You know the kind of so that means this set of people in MMM are people like indirectly driving that price up. They're always moving that price of Bitcoin. It's always been coming down and stuff like that because of. But we are not saying that MMM is driving indirectly, but we are saying that this number of people in MMM are indirectly affecting the price of that currency. That's to show you that it's something worthwhile to join. That's why I say it's the largest, it's something biggest. So MMM is a community that is built on helping people to become free. So let's now look at the concept. What was the driving force behind Sergey Mabrodi then when he was creating the system? What led him to us coming out with this idea of exchanging funds within ourselves? His own idea then was to create a fair financial system where money will no longer be an issue. All of us here can agree with me that, in fact, what led all of us here this morning, or what brought all of us here, is because we had that 30%. We had it to whatever we need. You get it? So, MMM's ideology is not to create that platform that's totally fine. If you have any funds now, you can come into MMM, make that donation to somebody now that needs it. Because when you're making your donation, it will be sent to somebody that requested for it. You now have to wait for your own to also mature for like 30 days for you now to also make request for that your donation plus the 30% reward that's going to be added on that your donation at the end of the month. So when you are coming into the system, there will have been some people already ahead of you. So when you join the system, you have to be on that queue for the next maybe like 35 or 30 to 35 days. When it gets to your turn, you have gotten your 30% interest added to your donation, and you can also make requests for it. So meaning that, let's say you start with 2,000 naira, at the end of the month, you'll have gotten 2,006, which you can make requests for. That 600 naira extra is something to a lot of people. Okay, let's say, okay, fine, now I want to start with like 100,000. That's like an extra 30,000 naira for you on your 100,000 naira donation, which can also do something. So that's why we said the idea of MMM is to create a kind of situation, a kind of a system whereby if you have any project you want to do, you can plan with this extra income that you can get from every one of us doing one thing together, make that exchange. Yeah, that made Sergey Mabrodi to create this system is to create a platform where there will be no need to go to the bank to borrow money to execute our financial projects. You can start up with those 30%. Imagine getting 30% from a system for a year. And let's say we start with 100,000 naira. 30,000 times 12, that is an equivalent of like, let's say that's 360,000 naira. It's enough to do a particular project for someone's life. Like at least it's enough to let's say you want to start a farming project now. It's enough to start something. So that's what MMM system does for us. And how MMM generates the 30% to make it go around every month, just using our funds, all of us distributing the money within ourselves is what we are going to learn today. So that when you get outside there, somebody will, I think it's a daily question that we ask on phone, people call me on WhatsApp, on Facebook. This 30% people are shouting about, this is people are talking about, is it that MMM is putting our money in Forex, is it that MMM is putting our money in options, is it that MMM is putting our money in real estate and they are giving us a return? No, MMM is not doing that. By the time we get to that part, you will see how this 30% comes about. Alright, so that's just the ideology about MMM, creating this financial system and creating a platform whereby we can always get funds for ourselves. So how does MMM work? MMM works, MMM is a community of people providing help within each other, and it works on the principle of graciousness, reciprocity, and benevolence. This simply means when you are joining MMM, you are not joining with any stringent agreements or with any stringent rule that is tied to your leg. Like if you want to collect a loan in the bank, all of us know the kind of stress we go through just to collect maybe like 100,000 naira from the bank. Some of them go as far as telling you to bring your great-grandfather's certificate of land ownership. Yeah. So, but in MMM, we don't do that. Why? Because it is solely based on this principle of I give you today, you give me tomorrow. You need the funds today. The funds that you don't really need today, you can give it to somebody to use. By the time you also will be needing it, you can get it back and also get an extra 30% on it. So that's why I said it's just based on the principle of trust, number one, reciprocity and just pure benevolence. And say benevolence just means from a free will. You are not forced to donate in MMM. When you are joining, in fact, after this presentation, nobody will force you to register. All we just do is share it, and by the time you are okay with it, you can just fill the exchange. So that's why it's based on just based on your own decision to be part of it. Alright, so when you are joining MMM, the first thing you need to note is that you need to do something that we call like a seed sowing. Seed sowing simply means your own donation, whatever amount you have as like a spare money that you can donate into the platform. So when you are joining, you are going to be joining on this path that we call provide help. You are providing help to somebody in the system. When you register now, you need to indicate to the system that, okay, fine, I want to start with 20,000 naira. That means I want to provide help to somebody in the system with that 20,000 naira. When you are also making the withdrawals, you know, after a month, let's say you start 20,000 naira, you have gotten like 26,000. After a month, you also now have the right to request for that help of 26,000 naira. When you are making that request, you use that yellow tab called get help. So, in other words, we can say provide help is like the deposit option of MMM, while the get help button there is like the withdrawal option of MMM. Alright, so how does MMM work? We are still on that. MMM, when you join and you register, you are going to be credited with what is called Mavro. Mavro is named after the owner. You know, actually it's Mavro, so they just remove the DI at the back of it, so just name Mavro. So Mavro is nothing stringent, it's nothing so big like that. It's just a technical term. It's like the internal currency of the system. Mavro's amount will start growing from the moment of deposit at the rate of 30% per month. The calculation of interest occurs twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This sum in Mavro shows how much you can request for yourself. Let me break this down, especially the part of the Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some people say, is it that if I log into my account and I won't see anything? Yes, you won't see anything. The only time you will see an increase, a jump up in your balances on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's do a little bit of math.
So isn't just something that's
yes, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you always see a jump in your balance, an increase in your balance. 30% divided by 4. We have 4 weeks in a month, right? 30 divided by what you can withdraw in MMM. You log into your account, you just click on the map to show you your status per time. Alright, so let's now go into how this 30%, how MMM generates this 30% on each of our donations. So let's go there. There is no interest rate in MMM. In MMM, after you donate your money, you get rewarded with what is called Mavro, which I explained before we landed here. So what is Mavro? Mavro is an index of your tributes to the development of the community. This index grows at 30% a month. Mavro is just a technical term. Programmers can adjust this growth rate of Mavro at any moment. The amount of Mavro and its growth rate can be increased, it can be increased, it can be stopped, and it can be cancelled. I'm going to explain all this for so that you understand. Because people are like, are you telling me now that if I make my donation, MMM can just decide maybe after 3 months, they will just slash it down, bam, to like 15%. Yes, it's possible. And there are conditions that can likely warrant it. Those conditions are what we're going to be talking about in the risk part of MMM. We used to be very transparent in our presentation. We'll tell you the good part, we'll also tell you the bad part, so that when you are joining, you know everything about that. Nobody is telling you that it's just going to be all smooth like that. In case anything happens, we are also prepared for it. That's how we do business. Alright, so Mavro is an index of tribute. So let's look at how that 30% comes in. You know, I told us that when you are coming into the system, you are going to be coming in on this part of it, this provided okay. So when you are joining, there are still seats here. You want to register today now with your 20,000 naira. You are going to be coming on what is called a queue. Queue simply means that, let's say you are joining at this point now. There will have been some people at this point that have made donations. Maybe somebody made 20,000, 10,000, 2,000, 5,000, 100,000, and the likes like that. So let's say you now want to join, so that means if you are coming, you need to wait for these people to move out of the queue before you can be assigned somebody to send your donation to. Let me go back again. When I started, I said it's a daily turn to green. once you turn to green, that means you also can now immediately jump to that part of the queue and make requests for whatever you've earned at that particular time. But the process of you waiting to move from here to here is what we do tell people that it takes 30 plus or minus 35 days. Plus or minus 30. Please take note of it, because some of you make donations and I'm not, my money is still in my bank account, I'm not getting somebody. It used to take quite a while. Why? Because when you are joining, there are people already ahead of you in the system. So you need to wait. MMM doesn't jump. They don't say because, you are joining Inca now as a guider in Nigeria now. They will now push you from here to here. No. It's already a program software. So when you are making your donations, the program software will take note that, okay, fine, you've indicated interest with your 20K, but you just need to wait for somebody on that side to make requests for that your money. So the process of waiting now will now have to mean that you need to wait for these people ahead of you to send yes before it comes to your turn. So that process of waiting plus or minus. Okay, so let's also go now into the mathematical approach to it. The 30%, how it comes about. Alright, so let's do a little bit of math. Please, you have to be very open up here. Please, let's be more when you come into the system, I told you you'll be coming on this part. Before you join, there will have been people ahead of you on the queue. Let's say, for instance, based on this our example now that we are using to explain this, let's say 19 people ahead of you and have made like $100 donations in your system. 1, 2, 3 down. This is the 19 people ahead of you, and you are not the 100 people. You know, these 100 people, now let's say maybe this person joined on January 1st. By January 30th, that person would have earned his 30% and be due to request for $130, right? Are you following me? I want to get you so that we know you are with me. I'm just using dollars to explain. Okay, let's say 100 naira. Okay, let's say the person started with 100 naira, or 19 people have donated 100 naira in the system. Why you 100 naira? So by 30, at the end of 30 days, let's say this person now made his own donation of 100 naira on January 1st. By 30th of January, is now due to request for 130 naira. So the person gets on the get help queue and make request for 130 naira. That 130 naira now will be assigned from those people now that are coming online. That means 30 naira will now be taken from this person's donation and added to his own 100 naira donation, which is that his own 130 naira. Don't forget, for this person to make withdrawal, we would have sent this 100 naira to somebody in the system. So immediately he sends it. This next person now that is coming into the system will now be assigned to him on that other part to pay him 130 naira. So if, let's now do a little bit of math. Let's assume now that, okay, on that side now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 people are due for withdrawals. They've now made requests for their 130 naira. That means 1,950 naira will have been taken out of the 2,000 naira on that queue.
How is this happening like magic?
It's mass. Okay, let me go back. You think one is saying and it's happening? It's coming back to the system. And also, as we as guiders are doing presentations like this and letting people about this system, people are also joining. That's why you see here, I wrote that this place is going to be filled by the pH orders filling up below again, and also new pH entering the system. So this side will always be having a lot of funds on it because people keep joining every day. Aside that, people who are earning also are like, no, I don't want, let's say maybe you are saying 26,000, 6,000, let me keep my 6,000, I want another 6,000 again for another month. They come in again. So that's why you see that this place is always going around, and that is how 30% keeps growing, and it's keep growing. And for like, I think 5 years now, when the new MMM was launched. I told you it started in 1994, it was stopped. They now revamped it because since the flaw of 1994 was this issue of bank accounts, they now said, okay, fine, let's decentralize the whole system. Let funds be between members. At least if any government wants to now say they want to close us now, that means they have to go into all the participants' accounts and close it, which is not possible. So that's why it's been flawless for the past 5 years. So anybody that comes into the system, you understand how the 30% is being generated, and you freely share with somebody, and you freely also make your own donation. It's not compulsory to refer, please note. But definitely, by the time you start, you get used to the system. Nobody will tell you. You just naturally feel like, ah, wow, this system has been giving me for like about 6 months. You just want to share it and not on and on. So that's how the 30% comes about. So there's no options your money is being invested in. There's no forex that your money is being. It's just the system of donations around about every one of us. So people ask me, when will this 30% stop? The 30% will stop when there's no more need for money. If you don't need money again, you will not come back to PHRB. By the time you earn, you invest, you donate 100,000 naira for instance now. At the end of 1 month, you are paid 130,000 naira. And you say you don't need it again, fine, just go. That means no any again for you. But there's always this persistent need for money for everyone. If you don't need 30,000 naira to give him tomorrow, another thing will just come up. So that's why we say MMM system can go on and on and on and on as long as there's this consistent need for money which can never die. Every one of us will be consistent. So I hope you understand this concept now, this 30%. We'll come to the question. Just take down that question. During the other parts, we'll take all these questions and answers. Alright, so let's move on. So aside the 30%, what are the other benefits of being part of MMM? What are those other things you get when you join MMM? The first one is the 30%, which we talked about. The second part of it is the registration bonus. There's always a one-time registration bonus that is being paid whenever you join MMM. Let's say you want to make a donation now, and your donation is between $50 to $499. I didn't mention it. The minimum you can start with is $10. $10 is like 2,000 naira now. It's international, that's why I'm using dollar. But if it's naira, it's 2,000 naira. So that means the maximum donation per time on any page order is $10,000. That's like 2 million naira. 2 million naira. So let's say you now want to join the system and you are making a donation of 50 times 200. That's 10,000 naira. You are making a donation of 10,000, which is like $50. The system is going to give you $20 as your registration bonus. If you are also coming into the system and you are making your donation to be between $500 and $299, you get $50. When your donation is above $3,000, you earn $100. Please take note also, this is just a one-time, just once. Because some people are like, I made donation last month, this might make another donation, I'm not seeing bonus. Sorry, it's just a one-time, please. It's not something that you get every time you make donation within that, it's just a one-time. Alright, so let's go on. So MMM also has the referral program that we use also. Sorry, right? Okay. For anybody you refer also into MMM and the person uses your referral link to register, you are going to earn what we call 10% referral bonus on them. Meaning if you refer somebody and the person makes a donation of 20,000 naira, MMM is going to pay you 2,000 naira as your bonus for inviting somebody to join MMM through your link. Aside that also, there's now what we call the managers or guiders. We don't like using the word managers because it tends to get into a lot of people, especially when they start doing a lot of meetings and they start doing some kind of unwanted things like maybe presentations like they start charging for, and MMM doesn't tell us to charge anybody for presentation. It's free. You're supposed to freely share it because what you're getting is supposed to be something based on trust. It's not something to share, but it gets into some people, and that's why we do change this word as guider. Guider simply means somebody who is in charge of managing MMM's community anywhere it is. Sure, you understand? But for you to be a guider, you need to attend MMM school for 10 days. It's like a 10 days online course. You need what we call a Skype account, a GoToMeeting application, and so that because the school is based in South Africa. It's South Africans that train all African branch of MMM that is coming up. South Africa was the first country MMM launched in Africa. You know, I told you it started from Russia, Philippines, India, it's all over the world now. But in Africa, it started with, so they gave them that priority as the first time, and so they are the ones that train any branch of MMM in any African country. So that's why for you to connect to the school, you need that Skype account so that it can be linked up with them there. So they used to, the school used to open up actually almost every week. And just announced it on MMM website. You see it there. So just see the link to click and register. Once you register, you'll be added to the Skype group, and from there you get the training. So like 10 days. What you do in the training is just to teach you about MMM. You get a lot of materials, the history, past histories. During the course of, for those that came in, I was playing some videos. They are all part of MMM videos. Those are materials you get. You learn to know more about even the founder, his foundation, what led him. Because this MMM concept was, let me say, it's indirectly based on the concept landing up in the class. You know, the drilling is very tough. Yeah. So after the 10 days, once you graduate, you will now be made a guider. So as a guider, what are your work? Managers of MMM are to create their own multi-level structures and get the bonus from each of the donation of every participant in their structure. This is like a multi-level bonus. Thus, a manager can have his own leader whose rank is higher than him. Manager's bonus varies depending on the level of the structure. So basically what we are talking about is once you graduate from this school, you will now have this structure opened up for you. So meaning if you hold presentation or let's say you go out and you like want to do, you go online, you start marketing, talking about MMM, people start joining you. As people join you directly, maybe your people also are working and people are joining them. You'll be handing bonuses on each one of them. So that bonus structure is what is stated, the 5% for the first level, 3%, 1%. This is just for those that want to take it further. It's not compulsory. It's just for those that you want to take it. So and aside that also, for every presentations we do in MMM, like the one I'm doing here today now, it is solely sponsored by MMM. Meaning, in the course of the 10 days training, they will teach you how to write your proposal, your budget for presentations like this. Like your presentation budgets, you might need to rent an hall like the space we are using today. You might need to pay for adverts online. You might need to do all this roll up and maybe video coverage and stuff like that. So once they will teach you how to write those budgets in the school. Once you send it to them, they will approve it and they will send you the money. How they send you the money is through the international MMM's payment system, which is Bitcoin. There are exchanges in Nigeria now that can buy their Bitcoin and pay you in Naira. For those of us that have been using currency in the past, we have what we call exchange, assistant gold, focus wealth, and likes like that. So once they send you the Bitcoin, you can now sell to them and they pay you in Naira. You can now use that now to go and do your presentation. So immediately after every presentation also, you are supposed to send back the report. That's why you see I'm covering this. Immediately after this also, I will need to send this report to them that actually did this, so that they will know that you are not just collecting the money and running away. So you need to report. If they give you funds the first time, you don't report. They give you the second time, you don't report. I'm sorry, that's all. You just go to your PO. Remove your rank as a guider. And you don't get funds again. Alright, so that's just part of it. Okay, so now let's now go into the risks part of MMM. Yes, a lot of people don't like hearing this, but it is true. I need to make you understand. Yes, so MMM is a community of peer-to-peer money exchange. Thus, MMM only redistributes money between its participants, connecting a donator to a recipient, which I've explained. So, therefore, in order that the mutual aid process may be beneficial and going around and not stop, the number of participants donating money should generally increase. And how does this generally increase? It increases in two folds. Number one, those in the system that are ahead of those of us that want to join today, they have earned. By the time they earn, they most times come back to that place I was showing you in that 30%. They most times come back to this key because they don't want their earnings to stop. So that is the first part of it also. And also people, as a result of they've earned in MMM for like a period of time, they also invite people to join MMM. So it's those two folds that ensures that enables MMM to have sustained itself for the past 5 years and continues to sustain itself for the how many years to come, as long as we want. So it's all dependent on every one participant in MMM. That's why we say in MMM the action or inaction of every one participant matters a lot. That's why it's important that all of us understand this idea, the idea of the money distribution going around. I told you that it's not that there's a place that money will be invested in and brings us return. No, the money is within all of us. The 30% generated is within all of us. So if all of us understand that, okay, fine, my action now matters a lot in the consistent earning of 30%, you're now to protect the community. So that's why we say that it's it's important for all of us as to understand that the money donation process is within us. And also the community constantly works on to improve the reliability of the mechanism of mutual assistance. However, it may happen that those who have donated money will not receive help back. So that is why we tell anyone joining MMM that when you are joining MMM, you start your donation with what? Spare money. And it's not the spare money now that's a lot of people like, what is not the definition of this spare money? Are you now saying, hey, if I put 20,000 naira, there's a tendency that I will not get it back? Who wants to just put money in something and will not get anything back, you know? So that's why we used to stress this part so that you understand that when you are joining MMM, number one, you don't join with a borrowed fund. Number two, you don't go to the bank and say, there's a place that we're paying 30% to, you can't carry all your money, your life savings and put it in MMM. Please don't do that. Don't know, don't borrow. Start with what you have. Don't forget the definition of help. Help simply means, I have 100,000 naira now. Somebody needs 20,000 naira. Okay, fine, take 20,000 naira. That is an help. It's from what I have. Help is not, somebody comes to you now, I need 20,000 naira, and you now tell him, please wait, let me go and borrow from somebody to pay you. That is no more help. So you understand? That is why we used to hang around this definition very well to everybody. We used to institute and everybody that comes like, please start with whatever you have. That's why the minimum to join MMM is 2,000 naira. We expect that at least an average person will have 2,000 naira to spend. So you understand? The essence of this is just in case of anything or any event that happens, you won't be like on the toes. Somebody will not be at the back of your house saying, Benny, you must leave my money today. Yes, I'll carry you to police. No, please, it should be something you have in your own pocket. So you understand? We are not saying the process of donation, we are not saying you will not get your 30%, we are just saying that for everybody to be at peace of mind with themselves, start with what you have. In fact, any bank you are putting your money, they will tell you to invest what you can afford to lose. Because they themselves also know that anything can happen, government can decide to close the bank down now. Who will you hold? So that's why they say, please invest what you can afford to lose. Start with what you know you can afford. Don't put yourself under pressure. Don't say because somebody donated 1 million or somebody donated 2 million and now want to go and put yourself. No, please. Just start with what you have. So please, this is just trying to tell us the concept of MMM, and this is how MMM has been running for like a while. What comes up? Okay, so let's go on. So, however, we should take note. However, for many years of operation, we have proven the system's reliability, and MMM have implemented a lot of mechanisms to make sure the donation exchange process becomes more stable and becomes more beneficial. So, what are these systems? What are these mechanisms that MMM has put in place? The number one mechanism is what we call pause mode. So let me explain this pause mode, because it might happen that okay, maybe you requested for help, but on the provide help tab, there might not be a lot of donations and your help being sent to you is a little bit delayed. What happens? People are like, what is happening? What is happening? What happens in such a situation is that MMM has introduced one of their security mechanisms, which is called pause mode. Pause mode simply means that, okay, fine, a lot of people are now making withdrawals in the system, and a lot of people are not making, providing help. What MMM simply does is that they pause withdrawals and allow the provider to go. Immediately this one now grows up again to another, you release this and the withdrawal will get to you. So in other words, let's say you make request for your donation now, for your get help request, maybe after 20,000 you make donation of 20,000 and you make request for 26,000 after a month and it's been delayed for like a day or 2 days. Don't be afraid. What is just happening in such a situation is that MMM has set in the first method, which is the pause mode. They are allowing the donations to come in first so that you can be assigned people to pay you. But currently in Nigeria now, if you make a request for withdrawal, how many minutes, sir? Less than 5 minutes. I didn't say that. For less than 5 minutes, 2 minutes, you have been assigned. Why? Because you have a lot of people on this side. And MMM at all times has been noted that there are always a lot of people on this side than this side. But this mechanism will only come in place when they notice at any point in time we have a lot of hit and run people coming in. They will just take all the money and will not pay anything back again. And then we can introduce this possible. It's not that you won't get it, it's just that you might be delayed. I hope you get that. It's not that you don't get paid, because that you do it. Hope you get that. So for now in Nigeria, we don't have that. In fact, for the next 1 year, we might not have that in Nigeria. Why? Because it's fresh with us. We have a lot of people making donations. So when you click your withdrawal now, somebody will have been assigned to you. So you just need to wait for the system time frame. Because when you provide help and you are assigned somebody, you have 48 hours to send it to the person. If you don't send it within 48 hours, you'll be blocked. Block simply means your account, you don't have access to your account again. MMM will just assume that this guy just created fake promises, not faithful. He doesn't just created some kind of donation that he knows he can fulfill. So they will block the account. So there's a 48 hours time frame for every donation. If you don't send it after 48 hours, they will block you. Another person will be assigned to that person because a lot of people are always there to make donations. Alright, so those are the security features. And the second security feature is what we call restart. Restart has never happened in MMM. Why? Because people now understand the idea. So everybody is always working with that idea almost everywhere. So the restart simply means that, okay, now there's no more provider coming in. Everybody is just withdrawing. So what they now do is that they will not do a complete restart to the system. Restart simply means that those that have been in the system that have earned, they will zero out their marbles. You know, I told you your marbles is your financial statement. They will have zero. Those that have not earned will now be credited back with their initial donation amount and they will start afresh. It has not happened, but it's possible. That will make you, will tell you as it is, say that perfect. It has not happened before, and as long as all of us keep the ideas with us, it won't happen. But just in case all of us decide not to keep the idea, it will happen. Okay, so what are the other things MMM involves in? MMM also involves in community building and development projects, advertising online, SMS marketing ads, like some of us saw us. MMS is involved in funding, things like that, just to promote the community online, offline, presentation, offline events. MMM also organizes charity events, like there's this, by the time you join now, I will add you to our WhatsApp group. There's this Marlboro News. Marlboro News is, it started in South Africa in January. They have a radio station just dedicated to MMM every week. Every charity event done around, they post it there. You see people, managers, it's guiders that most times do this. Once they get the funds, they can just decide that, okay, they want to just go and bless an orphanage home, or maybe they just feel that, okay, fine, there's a need for a project to be done in anywhere they are. They can just go there, support the community with their funds, and they grow, because just like I said, it's a helping, just about help, providing help. Anyway, because anyway you can assist somebody. Because the guiders can just come out with ideas that, okay, fine, in this area, they don't have transformer, they don't have which. They can just send projects to MMM. MMM will send the funds and they can do that. It's also a means of making MMM know that, oh, it's not just about the money. It simply means like centers, like offices. We started in November, and November 20th. Today is our third month that MMMNigeria launched. MMM, as I said, in 2011, we started in Nigeria in November 20th, 2015. So today is our third month, which we have been marking on WhatsApp. For those that are on WhatsApp people, celebrating that. So in the process of the year also will be happening what we call clubs or centers. Centers are like offices. And like maybe during the week, if you have somebody that has issues, maybe doesn't understand MMM, you can just send them down to the place. They get trained, we tell them what MMM is. If they want to register, they have systems, they can register from there. So we do that also. We also provide budget to give you a chance to build a real big team of the downlines. Okay, so what are the frequently asked questions about MMM? So I need to check my time. Alright, so we just have this. So frequently asked questions about MMM. What is MMM not a scam? I've explained this in the past. MMM has successfully worked for more than 4 years. If it's going to be a scam, it will have disappeared long ago. Is it legal? Number 2, is MMM legal? MMM is not a company. MMM is not a bank. MMM is not hype. MMM is not MLM. So it is commonly, it is a community of people coming together to assist themselves. So there's no law in any country that forbids people to share their money with each other. I don't know if there's any law now in the Nigerian constitution that forbids me from sending money to you if you need assistance. So that's why we say it's legal. To help somebody financially, it's legal anyway. As long as we have it. Always help somebody. So the third part is MMM not a Ponzi scheme. Unlike Ponzi scheme, MMM is clearly and openly explaining its operational process, like what I'm doing here now. It will tell you as it is. The Ponzi scheme will not tell you this. They will just tell you put your money. At the end of the month, they will pay you 100%. By the time the guy does it for like 3 months and discover that, wow, $10,000 in his account, and just post off, you will not see him again. Nobody to hold. Why? Because there's this central account strategy they used to use for all these Ponzi schemes. They just put the money. So by the time they pay first set, first month, pay another set, second month, and they see that the money is split, they just post off. That is the number of ways. Because for MMM, we don't do that. Why? Because the money is within us. Your bank account is just like MMM's bank account. When you're sending money to somebody, you're sending directly to the person's account. Somebody also, you're making withdrawals, so the person is paying direct to your bank account. It's not that you're paying MMM will not send it to you. No. So that's why it doesn't have that idea of ghosting off with our money, because the money is with us. It's in our bank account. We are the ones. So MMM does not give any guarantee actually. You don't promise anything. That's why I tell you start with your spare money. Alright, so how can I be sure I will not lose my money? This best way, if somebody asks, how can I? The best way to secure yourself is just start with what you have. Start with minimum is $10, which is 2,000 naira. After a month, if you're okay with it, you can scale up. If you're not okay with it, you can stop. You are not forced in MMM. Alright, is it a pyramid? The uniqueness of MMM is that it has no person on top of the community who gets all the money. There is also no single account where all the money is stored. This is an idea of MMM. In MMM now, let's say you want to earn in MMM, you need to link somebody. You refer to persons. It's those 2 persons payment that will be like indirectly paid to you, and not like that. But in MMM, it's not like that. There's nobody like it that is like on top of the margin that all of us will keep working for. And the person will start buying all the cars. You that you are doing all the promotion, they are still like struggling to come up. It's a plain thing for everyone. Once you join the system, everybody can earn 30% as long as the donation to inspection continues. So that's why I said it's not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme is something that starts like this. Somebody at the top, for you to get to that top also, you need to keep bringing. So for you to also earn, you need to keep doing that. That's my energy. Alright, so okay, I think that is all about the people there. So let's now go into this critical part of it. I'll just spend the next 10 minutes to explain this because it's very, very important also too. Let's fall back to my definition of MMM. I said it's based on trust, it's based on reciprocity, and it's based on benevolence. That simply means that I can't hold you if you are assigned to send money to me and don't send. It's your own decision. If you like, you send. If you don't like, you don't send. Sure you understand. But for MMM to guard against issues of somebody is assigned, you don't send, what happens is that will not be the end, will that not get withdrawals? That's like these rules are coming into place to just guide the community so that we won't have people just messing the system up anyhow. They say anywhere there's no law, abuse is inevitable. So that's why we have all these rules. So let's go through this. Number one thing is that do not have multiple accounts. It is wrong in MMM for you to have multiple accounts. This usually happens for people that are looking for the federal bonus. You just see them, especially these MMM people, just come in and start creating ghost accounts because of 10% referral bonus. So then I say, MMM should catch you. The penalty is that all accounts will be permanently blocked. They just go and close all the accounts. So people ask me, how would they know that somebody is creating multiple accounts? There's what we call IP. IP address is what they track every one of us with. So by the time they discover that registration is just coming from a particular IP, MMM will start flagging that account that, wow, it seems this guy is doing something funny. So you understand? It's just, what you just do, they'll first of all give you like a first warning. They'll block your account. You send request to them to unblock you. They'll tell you what they suspected about your account. If you now explain to them that it's not what they mean, they will unblock your account. But if after your explanation they still track it further, they still discover that you are actually creating that thing because of just 10% bonus, they will finally block it. Alright, so please don't let's create multiple accounts. You can actually provide help as many times as you want in just one account. So you don't need multiple accounts. Like if you want to donate this month, maybe next month you are also have another step and you want to donate, you can still do it without your own account. No need for creating multiple accounts. Number 2, do not share your email or bank details with other members. This happens because of hacking. We have a lot of people that are also in the system. For systems like this, expect that there will cheat. There will be a lot of bad guys too. Jesus too, when he had 12 disciples, one of them too was that. It's a normal thing, you can't run away from it. So hackers will always be around. So Do you understand? So that's why we said, please do not share your email around. Just don't throw your email, especially your email link to your email account. Don't share it with anybody. Your bank details, don't share it with anybody. Just keep it safe. So you'll be blocked from getting help, and you have to give identity. Anytime you notice that a lot of emails are accessing, they are suspecting some kind of data, especially it happens most times to bank details. Because the way an hacker will be able to hack into your account or steal your funds in MMM is that once they have access to your account, they will just go straight to your bank account details, they will change it. Once they change it, they might just put their own bank details. So they will click on the get help to make withdrawals or whatever you have. So it will not be sent to your account. So what MMM does in such a situation is that once they notice that the bank details have been changed, and you will now make a withdrawal request using that get help, they are going to place your account under fraud.
So few. All right, count. Go.
My name is Rose Oseni. I've been introduced to MMM, and I've attended this seminar today, and I've understood more about it, more than when I was told. And I know that this program, I will benefit from this program in the long run once I start to really
Your name?
My name is David. So I got to know about the MMM internet. Though I've been seeing a lot of things on the internet about how to make it financially. But I'm not the type that belong to one believing group. But I guess I have to. So I just take a kind of step of faith to go and say, okay, let me go there and see what does it true or not. And I really thank God that blessed and at the same time convinced in my spirit that with this MMM, that people are going to go to places, and it's a kind of, the platform. So that will be established already to make people somebody like. So and my prayer for the MMM is that the Lord will begin to strengthen. So the people will be praying behind the MMM. So I wish them the best. At the same time, I wish my best of luck. And with what I've heard today and with what I've learned today, I'll be able to tell more people and to bring more people into this platform. So for them also to be beneficial, not to be selfish. So I really thank God for the MMM. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Nathaniel Edward.
Speak louder, please.
My name is Nathaniel Edward. Well, actually, I was told about this seminar, when I browsed through the Chris book. But actually, the person doing the seminar is a classmate of mine who attended the same university. So I just gave him the call when I was on Facebook. But actually, the seminar, it was wonderful, and which I really like the concept of this MMM store. But it's a good one because if I kind of compare this with other ones, there's a lot different because most things we do, because I've been to MLM, like this GNLD, and so this one is a thing that yes, you have rest of mind, because this is just peer-to-peer contribution, and which I believe it will go a long way in enriching and making people because this is just like you making a save on your own self, and you have this let me just say a free and a stress-free platform that even when you want to kind of save, you are saving the thing for yourself. Self in the sense that because you're not making a donation to the bank, it's still with you. Actually, this financial kind of institute or program will help. How will it help? It will help individual and make everybody not to be broke, because the 30% we are talking about, even in the bank, 30%, for you to get 30%, even in the bank, in Nigeria, bros, by the way. Well, actually, I really understood the concept, and I really enjoyed and liked the platform, and which I believe we all should kind of imbibe and still do more to this. Well, actually, it's a nice one. I really enjoyed and gained very, very well in this the course of the training, which me myself, as you are seeing me, it is not only me myself and my family, and even my young people, because we really need to make this money. And how do we make this money? MMM has done a platform for me and my family, which I know I will never reject. I am what? I have accepted the offer already, which, as you can see, I'm still on the queue to make my registration, and the page and the thing, and the G and everything. So I really, I'm okay with it. I really thank for this initiative. Kudos to the founder, kudos to everybody in the platform. Thank you.
Thank you.